Okay, let's run Solver on the problem we just set up. I'm going to go to the Data tab and then choose Solver. This here is a little screenshot of what I'm going to get, but it's deliberately small so I don't confuse it with the real Solver dialog window. So I get this. And the first question it asks is, what's your objective? Looking at the sheet, where does the word objective happen? It's the orange cell, right? So I'm going to highlight that cell. This solver thing is already set up actually, but I'm going to walk through solving it with you. Do I want to maximize or minimize? I hardly ever use this value of option. Oh, it says right here I want to maximize. Now Excel can't understand the word there, but I need to click this maximize box. What are my variable cells? So I click here, and let's pretend this wasn't here. I would just click and drag to highlight the decision variable cells, which are in Verde. If I had 100 cells, I could just click and drag and do all of them at once. I don't have to like click this one, hit comma, click this other one, hit comma, etc. So it's set up nicely. You can highlight a whole range of stuff. By the way, the limit for the free solver that comes with Excel is 200 variables. And if you have more than that, we can talk about other packages. And then I'm going to add my constraints. Now this is interesting. I have 3 constraints, right? But I only need to specify one because I can specify a whole range of values for the left-hand side and a whole range of values at the same time for the right-hand side. Let me delete this and then I'll just show you the process of adding it. So I click Add, and then I click and drag here to highlight those 3. And I choose less than, equal, greater than. We'll talk about these others in a sec. But I want less than. And then for this, the right-hand side of the constraint, I click and drag to highlight the rose-colored cells. And here, I don't want to add any more constraints than this block of 3, so I just click OK. If I wanted to do another set of constraints, like down here, I would hit Add. But I'm just going to do OK. Do I need my variables to be non-negative? Yes, it's hard to build negative apartments. I mean, it's actually pretty straightforward to knock down apartments, but could you get finishing labor and carpentry labor available by knocking down apartments? Probably not. So we need to say non-negativity as a constraint. And then what are the solving methods? Well, there's one for nonlinear problems. There's one for LPs, linear problems, and we're doing a linear program here. So that's what we'll choose. And then evolutionary is for even nastier nonlinear problems. GRG is for smooth nonlinear problems. But we'll talk about that later in the semester. So we're going to use simplex LP. There's some options here that we don't need right now, but we'll talk about later in the semester. And then I just hit solve. So it'll solve it, and then it'll make a sound, and it makes the same sound whether things went well or poorly. So you really need to look at the dialog box that pops up next to figure out if things went well. So I'm going to hit solve. It made its sound, and it says solver found a solution. All constraints and optimality conditions are satisfied. That sounds pretty good. And if I say keep solver solution, which I usually do, and hit OK, there is no undoing. If you are hoping to undo, you have to just hit cancel here. But let's look at the results here. Does it seem reasonable that I would build 20 type A apartments and 60 type B apartments? I guess at least these aren't negative or in the millions or something. And how are my constraints going? Well, I exactly filled this constraint and exactly filled this constraint and didn't quite fill that constraint. So it's something to think about. But it doesn't seem obviously wrong, so I'm just going to hit OK. And the solver window goes away, and I'm left with my solution there. Here are some other big important facts about solver. If I go and, let's say, change this coefficient, make it a 4, solver does not automatically rerun. Now you saw this number change when I changed this from 3 to 4, because I said now type A apartments, you're still building 20 of them, but they house more people each. So if you change any of the numbers related to a solver model, you have to go rerun solver. It doesn't just automatically update for you. The other big thing to know about solver, other than it doesn't undo, remember I mentioned that, is that you only get one solver model per sheet, like per tab in Excel. So if you're going to run solver and then make a change and then run solver again and you want to keep both models, you have to copy the entire sheet. So what I would do is right click on the sheet name, choose move or copy, and then say create a copy, and you can tell it where you want that new copy. That's much better than, I just hit cancel there. That's much better than like highlighting the whole thing and hitting copy and then starting a new sheet and hitting paste, because doing that, highlighting and copying and pasting, won't copy the solver model you already have that you already spent time setting up. So I think that's it for our intro to solver. Go ahead to the next tab here. It's already got all the great color coding for you, but you need to fill in some formulas and then open solver and tell it what your objective and decision variables and constraints are. So go ahead and do that. And I'll see you in the next video.